Today we're going to talk about a quick and easy way to perform a compression test using a snap-on hyams clamp. Trevor, talk to us about compression testing.
This is a very important test for me, Brian. One of the important things whenever doing any diagnostic work, I want to know the mechanical condition of the engine. And I've got a quick and easy method to check to make sure we've got a good sound engine before we get into any real diagnostics. I'm going to use for this the snap-on hyams clamp, and we're going to use the car starter motor to actually give us an indication of a good sound engine in this car. Very straightforward thing to set up. I'm just going to plug the hyams clamp into the top of the oscilloscope. As soon as I've plugged that into there, on the actual amps clamp itself, we've got 400 amps off and 2000 amps. For this petrol engine, we're going to use 400 amps.
Would we always use the 400 amp setting for petrol engines?
Yeah, for petrol engines there may be times for, particularly with some diesels, where you'd need to use the 2000 amp setting, but for most petrol engines you'll be fine on 400 amps. As soon as we've turned it on, though, we then need to zero our scope, and that's done by just moving this little button here, and you can see on the scope that I'm going to bring that down to 0. There we are. So that's it zeroed in. We just need to set up our scope now with the correct settings. For the hyams clamp, 1 millivolt equals 1 amp. So for this test I'm going to use the 200 millivolt range, or 200 amps, and I've got the time scale set to ½ second. Okay, that's the scope set. To do the test, all we're going to do is open the jaws on the hyams clamp and put it around the main battery connection down to the starter motor.
Are there any other checks that you have to do with the engine, Trevor?
Yes, we must make sure that the engine is in a non-running condition. So what I've done to do that is I've disconnected the ignition system. Okay, all I'm going to do now is, using the remote snap-on remote starter, I'm going to turn the engine over, and once I've got a waveform on my scope, we'll pause it and we'll have a closer look at it.
Just tell us, Trevor, how have you connected the remote starter? Where do you connect that?
I've actually connected the remote starter to the solenoid on the starter motor, the small wire on there, and the other end just to the positive terminal. This means that I can turn over the engine and operate the scope single-handedly. Okay, Brian, if we have a look here, here we have 4 peaks, and these are the pistons going over compression. We're effectively looking at the current that the starter motor is drawing. And what I'm looking for are 4 even peaks, just like I have there. If I've got 3 peaks and one half the size, I need to do a further investigation, maybe with a compression tester.
Trevor, thank you.